Okay, on to the next Skip the Line reaction, man. This one's for Frank Warner. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you supporting the channel. You're one of the OGs, and yeah, you always support the channel. Thank you. Engine-EarZ Experiment, The Truth featuring Akala and Abi Sampa. Very excited for this because of Akala. Never heard this before, but if it's got Akala in it, then you know he's going to speak some real shit. That's just who Akala is, right? The message on this one is for those who have the courage to be honest. Interesting. Let's see what we got. Let's go.
Akala, Engine-EarZ Experiment, and we're searching for listen.
This sounds like it's gonna go mad.
Is there such thing as that we call true? Are you clutching to facts that they taught you? If the legs work, the crutch don't support you. Just weakens your ability.
If the legs work, the crutch don't support you. That's a bar, bro. Oh my god. Like a crutch is something that you would hold onto, so it's a lie, right? But if the legs work, you don't need the crutch, right? So it's almost like if you see the truth, you don't need the lie, essentially. So you know what I mean? If you see the truth, you don't need the lie. If the crutch works, if the legs work, what's the point to the crutch? Stop holding onto the crutch. Fire, bro. Fire bar there. Wow.
All true. Are you clutching to facts that they taught you? If the legs work, the crutch don't support you. Just weakens your ability to walk through. We cling to it, all go through it. My ego is big enough to claim that I knew it, so I spew it and I spew it, but I'm also fluent. I really ain't got a clue what true is. You know why a baby learns so fast? Cause it has no fear of the past. Divisions of race and class. Prison of the past to the stars. We must look a little dark.
Hey, that is a fire line over there. Firstly, when he says, I don't know what's true. Fuck, who knows what's true anymore? But that line over there where he's like, you know why a baby learns so fast is because he's got nothing from the past, essentially. So he's got nothing to go on. He can actually create his own world in real time without sort of all this indoctrination. We teach him all of that. And it's kind of like he's kind of trying to allude to the fact that the older we get, the more we create our own narratives, the more we'd rather not see the things we don't want to see, right? So like, even if it's true, even if the truth is right in your face, we kind of like, we don't want to learn that because it doesn't suit, you know, the mold that we've been put in, where like the baby doesn't have a mold. The baby's taking everything in real time without these conceptions of the past. Fire, 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 fire.
Cause it has no fear of the past. Divisions of race and class. Prison of the past to the stars. We must look a little daft. If we think the energy that made galaxies cares more about me and my family, cause what I do, what I would say do. Pardon me.
Do you think the energy of the galaxies cares more about me and my family? It's like, no, bro, there's a bigger picture over here, right? You'd be super narcissistic to think that the fucking world and the universe revolves around you. That's basically what he's saying.
It's insane, dude. I don't know if God wrote any books. I do know we use God's name to kill kids. Don't know if he made me.
I don't know if God wrote any books. Also, we don't know that, right? I don't know that myself, actually. And I've read quite a few things about theology, and I'm still not completely... Well, look, I still feel like the Bible is man-made, but basically what he's trying to say there is, like, did God actually tell man to write that Bible? Or was it just man that wrote the Bible to control people, right? That is one of the narratives, which is highly plausible. But what he does know, which is factual, is that people have died in God's name. More people have died in God's name than any other war in the world, right? More people have died in the name of God, who's supposed to be the savior of life and the savior of human beings. More people have died in his name than any other conflict in the world. So that's true, man. You fucking can't deny that.
Dude, I don't know if God wrote any books. I do know we use God's name to kill kids. Don't know if he made buildings or he's chosen his favorite children. But I do know when we say we know and they don't, it's an excuse to kill them. Of course, those that have got the monopoly will say that's fluffy philosophy. Claim it's our nature to commit.
So, of course, those that have got the monopoly will say that is the philosophy, essentially. Which is, yeah, I mean, if you actually think about it, I mean, and this is actually a fact. It's just, that's how humanity controlled people to a certain degree, is that, yes, they built these churches and they created a faith, and it was basically to control people. Where it kind of went wrong, I'm not entirely sure. I wouldn't be able to tell you that. I'm sure there's lots of theologians that would be able to sort of grapple with this idea and try and argue with you. I'm just not too well versed at that with regards to like trying to coherently put an argument together for the Bible and the religion and its purpose. I do believe that there are elements of it that are pretty important for society, you know, in terms of like rules and standards and moral standards and things like that. But you're obviously going to get, in society, you're going to get groups of people that are going to radicalize it, and they're going to use it for nefarious purposes. And and it becomes unfortunately, that's just humanity. But I think religion in its pure form should be for a guide, like sort of like guidelines for your life, so that, you know, there is a sense of hope that you can look at. So I don't think it's something that should be eradicated. I think the radical elements of it should be eradicated, but the actual real pure purpose of it, where it is to provide people with belief, faith, and hope, even if there is nobody in the sky, those kind of things are good things to live by, because it actually adds purpose to your life. So that's my personal belief anyway.
Of course, those that have got the monopoly all say that's fluffy philosophy. Claim it's our nature to commit atrocity. May be true, but quite possibly, if our kids got their heads blown off every day, we will want to talk about equality.
Can't deny that. If our kids got their heads blown off every day, we would be talking about equality. But we are talking about equality in the West, and we're talking about equality for a group of people who are the most privileged on earth. Right? No one talks about equality in Iraq. No one talks about equality in Yemen. No one talks about equality in Afghanistan. Nobody talks about equality in all these other countries that have been invaded by these superpowers that have dropped bombs on children's heads, right? The most privileged world, the people who actually live in the freest societies, the people who actually have the most privileged lives, that have progressed far beyond any other nation in the world, are the ones complaining about being consistently oppressed. While the very country, while the very system that they live in, and that they say is a terrible system, right? The actual system itself of its like foreign policy of going out and killing others, that they don't speak of. They speak of their own situation inside of America, right? Because they don't see that. Speaking predominantly of America, right? And the Western world as a whole, right? But we don't see what happens in Pakistan. There were bombs dropping in Pakistan so much that at a certain point they were actually putting it as part of their weather reports. They were putting drones, but American US drone graphics as part of their weather report. They were putting drone graphics. Imagine living in that kind of society, right? Imagine living in a kind of society where you don't know if a drone's going to drop a bomb on your head or not from one day to the next, right? But we're complaining about silly things in the United States. Oh, the system. The system you really have to worry about in the States is the military complex, and how powerful that military complex is, and how much it does by going around the world and just toppling governments and creating coups and destabilizing people's countries and destroying populations and killing people. That is worthwhile speaking about. Right? I think we should probably look at that, because of those things happening, and because they use all of that to further American interests, is why America is one of the richest countries in the world, and that's why you live as one of the most privileged societies in the world as well. All right? So if you really want to feel what true oppression is, go to Iraq and see what your own country did there, or go to any of the countries that America has stuck its nose in. You know what I mean? And look, I'm a big fan of America. I think that the world is better off with America at the helm than any other country. But you can't turn your eye away from, you know, their wrongdoings. They've done some terribly heinous things in their life. And who are they to speak about what other superpowers are doing? Oh no, these are atrocious. I mean, atrocious Russians. Yeah, I agree. I know it's atrocious. You know why we know it's atrocious? Because you did that shit too many a times. You walked into Iraq for no reason under a false flag operation. The same thing that you said that Russia was doing. You did the same thing, and I'm not condoning what Russia did. I'm I'm saying it's terrible, right? I'm not for those imperialistic things, right? But America should probably not talk. I'm sorry. America should probably not talk where they walked into a country in 2003 for nothing under a false flag operation and killed hundreds of thousands of people for nothing. And no one went to jail for that, surprisingly. That's the truth, right? So, yeah.
We want to talk about equality. What am I searching for? Another person or on this quest for light, we travel back in time. What am I searching for? Another person or
I like this beat though.
on this quest for light, we travel back in time. Is there such thing as that we call fact? Are we floating in this bigger ball gas? Does the sky know of my criminal acts? Walk the tightrope of my physical trap.
Yes, I do think that there is such thing as that's what we call fact, right? An observable fact that exists, right? I understand what he's playing into here. He's playing into like the philosophy of it. It's like, what is fact, right? And it's like, what is actually real? Because this is all. If we start looking at everything as an indoctrination, then we get to where we are right now. We get to Marxist ideology, where it's like everything was created for nefarious purposes and everything was created for the advancement of only white supremacy and not any way like no one else in the world. And that's also incorrect, right? There you also got to see that the majority of people are not bad people, and some of the great things that were created in this world were to advance society and were for the betterment of society, and not just for the betterment of one group. It was the betterment of everybody, right? So that narrative of like fact isn't fact because we were taught it by our history and we're taught it by a certain group of people. So I think all facts should be taught. I think all history should be taught, right? But I'm not a big fan of that Marxist ideology of like, oh no, everything needs to be teared down because 2 + 2 isn't actually 4. They only tell you it's 4. It's because that was used to further white supremacy. That's bullshit. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't subscribe to that Marxist ideology, right? Fact is fact because fact is fact. And that's just the way it is. It was observable fact. 2 + 2. 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 is 4. It cannot be 5 at the end of the day. Whether you like it or you don't like it, and whether you like the origins of that or not, fact is fact.
On this quest for light, we travel back in time. Is there such thing as that we call fact? Are we floating in this bigger ball gas? Does the sky know of my criminal acts? Walk the tightrope of my physical trap. Thought of my throat is my lyrical rap. Thoughts that I wrote is...
Nice philosophical question. Does the sky know of my criminal acts? Is there a God that's actually judging me? I don't know. Some would say that there's a God within yourself that's judging you, and that's what makes you feel guilty. There is a level of consciousness within you that you know what's right and wrong, and you don't need to be taught that. You don't need to be taught that taking someone else's life is wrong. You'll feel that. You'll innately feel that. It's just by design, by human design. You will feel that.
Criminal acts, walk the tightrope of my physical trap. Thought of my throat is my lyrical rap. Thoughts that I wrote is quite pitiful. That gifts given, used for division. Come with me and decorate my prison. Tell me I'm great, that I am brilliant. Could one...
Sorry, let me actually clarify. I'll tell you why you'll know that. Because some people will sit there and be like, oh no, some people don't know that because, look what Hitler did, right? Like, Hitler had no conscience. Yes, Hitler did have a conscience. This is the crazy thing that people don't actually realize, is that everybody has a conscience. What they do with that, whether they suppress that, yes, there'll be people that suppress it, but it's wrong. And Hitler knew what he was doing is wrong. And I'll tell you why he knew what he was doing is wrong. Because when it came, if you don't know, if you honestly believe a certain ideology and you believe something vehemently, that you believe that murdering millions of people is just something that is good, right? That is better for humanity, right? You will stand by those convictions and you will take the consequences for that, right? Because you're like, no, but this is what I did is right. I'll stand by my conviction. I'll take the consequences for it. But what landed up happening is when he lost the war And when it was time for him to pay for his atrocities, he took his own life like a coward, right? And that just goes to show you that he had a conscience. He knew what he was doing is wrong. But the only time that conscience came and kicked into play is when he was going to be brought forward to face the consequences of his actions. And then he took his own life because he was too much of a coward to face those actions. He knew it was wrong. And those are the worst kind of people, the people that will stand by something. But the moment you slap them with the consequences, they fall, they become cowards. They're like, all of a sudden they sort of backpedal, right? You know, your conscience will tell you, you know what is wrong, right?
Be more significant than any other. Were you not born of a mother may burn more rubber than another, and you got more lovers? Smothered by the idea that we're doing right here. Long as we invite fear, get a bigger bite, yeah, bigger bit of spite, yeah. But we are blind here. The first people used to say to try and own land made you an idiot. We're so backwards, but we look back on that and label that as primitive, idealistic, unrealistic. Is it that or we just sadistic? Look where we're headed, no conspiracy. Destroy ourselves and the planet, literally. Pursue gain from our own gain. Know what's going on, am I insane? Chains on the brain are worse than the limbs.
Look where we're headed. We're basically going to destroy the planet, literally. I don't subscribe to the idea that we're going to destroy the planet. The planet has been here for millions of years and it's been here before us. It'll be here after us. No, we're going to destroy all of our civilization. That's for sure. We're going to destroy our civilization eventually, 100%, whether it's done by AI, whether it's done by nuclear power, or whether it's done by climate change, whatever you want to call it, right? We will eventually destroy our own civilizations, and sure, we'll take some ecosystems with us, right? Some animal ecosystems with us, but the planet will repair itself. It's been here for billions of years. It'll be here for billions of years afterwards as well. So all the time is like, oh no, we're literally going to destroy the planet. If you actually think that us little humans have the power to destroy something, to destroy Mother Nature itself, you can drop all of the nuclear weapons there are in the planet right now. What, 15,000, 16,000? Drop them all right now at one time. It will eradicate the planet. It will eradicate human civilization. We'll get a nuclear winter. Everything will die, and then literally give it a couple of 100,000 years, and everything's going to come back, and all of the planet will always correct itself. It'll shake us off like a bad case of fleas, man. But this thing of like, oh no, we need to save the planet. We can't save ourselves, let alone a planet. The systems, we can't even begin to comprehend how to even save the damn planet, right? We can't even save ourselves. We can't save ourselves from our neighbor. We can't save ourselves from the man in the mirror. And all of a sudden we feel we have the power to take on Mother Nature. It'll shake us off like a bad fucking case of fleas. No, we need to save our own civilization. We need to save our own people. The arrogance to think that we can actually... I get what he's saying. I mean, it's a turn of phrase. It's just basically how, you just say it like that, right? But you actually think about it. It's like, you're joking with me. You're going to save the planet. Yeah, sure. We're going to save the planet. The planet has been hit with meteors and comets and things like that that were multiple times the amount of power of every nuclear weapon on this planet. Multiple times. The comets and the asteroids that took out the dinosaurs were like thousands of times more powerful than any nuclear weapon we have on this earth. Right? Bye-bye dinosaurs, and ecosystems grew and the planet continued, man. We ain't saving the planet. We have to save ourselves, man. Don't worry about the planet. The planet will do its thing. We gotta save ourselves.
For my own gain, know what's going on, am I insane? Chains on the brain are worse than the limbs. It's strange they're retained as the person within. Strange what we gain from the ranges to sins. Plain in our brain that the slave is the king. Plain in our brain that the slave is the king. Plain in our brain that the slave is the king. Plain in our brain that the slave is the king. Plain in our...
That's very true. I like that. Pain in our brain and the slave is the king. And I think he alluded to something about having the chains in your brain are worse than actually having the chains on your limbs, right? And that's basically what we have today. So we've taken the chains off people, right, from slavery time, right, and then we've pushed them into a system, and we've indoctrinated them into the point where it's like, yes, you are free, but are you really free? And then they follow these narratives that are pushed by the highest, biggest elites. Like you are following narratives and ideologies of vile, evil people on both sides. I mean, we're talking about politicians. I don't care what side they are, Republican, Democrat. These are vile, evil, narcissistic, just terrible people, and we take their narratives, their ideologies, and we hold them to them so tightly, and we hate our neighbor for it. These people don't give a fuck about you. They don't care. They don't give a fuck about you. You think Biden cares about you? Fuck no. He doesn't give a shit. You think Trump cares about you? Fuck no. He cares about getting into fucking power. If that guy really loved America, let Ron DeSantis run. That's the guy to fucking run. 40-something years old, has great policies and things like that. Yes, some of them are controversial that people don't like, right? But for the most part, his policies are pretty good. If you like America, step aside, Trump. No one's got the fucking stomach for you anymore, right? So, and this is the thing. That's why I'm saying, do you really love America or do you love power? These people, these are some of the most vile people on earth, and we're sitting there and we're taking shit from these people who wouldn't piss in your direction if they saw you on the street. And we're using that and weaponizing it against our fucking neighbor who never did anything to you. That is how sick and perverted our political systems have gone. That's how sick and perverted society has gone. That you don't realize that you are being fucking played like chess pieces on a fucking board by politicians just to hate each other. The most vile of people. This isn't fucking Mother Teresa doing this. This is the most vile of politicians, the most corrupt of politicians. The people that fucking take no accountability for nothing and are not put in prison for their fucking criminal acts. All of them. Every single damn one of them. Biden to Trump to fucking everyone. And this is the people that oh no, I stand with Trump. Oh no, I stand with Biden. Oh no. But the one thing I won't fucking stand with is my fellow American. Because why? Because Biden told me that that's a fucking bad person. Or because Trump told me that that's a fucking bad person. Sick fucking world. Sick fucking world. Let's go.
Brain that the slave is the king. Plain in our brain that the slave is the king. Plain in our brain that the slave is the king. What am I searching for? Another person or on this quest for light, we travel back in time.
Oh, I like his beats.
What am I searching for? Another person or for life, we travel back in time. On this quest for life, we travel back in time.
Instrumentation on this is hard, man. Fire, but it's Akala, so you know it's going to be absolutely fire. I can't get these fucking reactions to be less than 20 minutes, specifically when it's stuff like this, man. Seriously, I don't know why I talk so much. It actually is now starting to bite me, though. And I actively try to be cognizant about it and be like, okay, no, just say minimal possible, and I still get to fucking 25 minutes, man. God, what is wrong with me? Anyway, I love you all, man. Please stay safe, please stay healthy. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.